From the East and the West, you've heard others, but now you've tuned into the best. This is a Prime Wave Media production.
What's up, world? It's the one and only Pop DBacks, the Primetime Capper, and it is time for the premier sports betting show, the Primetime Angles Live. And I want to go ahead and wish everybody a happy Friday. This is my favorite day of the week, and I hope you guys feel the same. You already know what it is. You know, if you had a 9 to 5, if you work Monday through Friday, you know that when 4:40, 4:30, 4 o'clock comes around, it's potty time, because you know that you got maybe a paycheck coming on the way, or you got a big weekend ahead of you. You know it's going to be a big pay-per-view weekend as well too. So you guys already know what's up. But usually we got them on Monday, but today we got them on Friday because you guys know that it's kind of a short week for me. We didn't have a Monday show. We had a show Tuesday. We had a show Wednesday with Mike Abadir, and we had a show yesterday. But today we bring in the Don of Cape Cod himself, Mr. ECSI, Jeff Dawson. What's up, brother? What's going on? How's everything going back there on the East Coast?
East Coast is doing well. We're getting ready for another heat wave with the hot and humids. That's going to be starting up tonight into tomorrow and through next week. So overall, business-wise, we're on a nice little run here. We're 7-3-1 this week, so we're doing okay. The Clippers' futures alive, which I know we'll talk about at some point. But overall, getting ready, Pops. Thursday, July 1st, and then we got 4th of July weekend. So let's make some fireworks.
And you know what? I think that 4th of July weekend, if they started baseball on that weekend, it would be absolutely epic. If they want to shorten the games a little bit, maybe 100 games in the season, start this season on July 4th. Because you know what? July 4th always brings out to me, it doesn't matter what sports you love, but you go to those picnics, you go to those gatherings and things of that nature. If you're at a park, if it has a diamond, you're going to be playing some baseball, softball, whatever it is. You're going to play. Even if you don't play, you're going to play. I've been to plenty of 4th of July where it's like, bring a glove. You know what I mean? I remember, and I hate the fact now because we don't have kids like we had like when we were kids. When we were kids, we would have a glove because at some point you played Little League. At some point you played Little League baseball. If you didn't play football, you see, basketball and baseball are easy for youth to play. The football portion is you kind of got to pick the kids that are a little bit bigger than the other kids for it to really work out. The kids that have a whole lot of heart, you know what I mean? But other than that, most people ain't going to pick football because it's kind of dangerous, because especially tackle football as a little kid. A lot of people don't play tackle football until they're about 8th, 9th grade and stuff like that. A lot of people choose to play flag or something of that nature. But you know what I mean, though, Jeff? There's just a lot of factors. But when it comes down to that baseball, if you got a diamond and you got 20 kids, 12 kids in your neighborhood, let's go have a baseball game.
No doubt about it. And we talk at length about the fact that once you get through 4th of July, you get that all-star break. And then for most of the people out there, it's just football. You're 6 weeks away from the start of football, and everyone's got that preseason vibe, that bug, like, oh, here we go, because you can start watching football on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sundays. And then before you know it, we're at Labor Day weekend, and we're full-blown NFL bet exchange.
Right, and you guys already know NFL bet exchange will be back in the fall with me and Jeff. I don't know if we'll do a preview show because our preview show went pretty long last year, or we could break them up into different segments like what we do here and talk about it here instead of. But that was epic, though. It was a marathon episode. I know a lot of people who talked to me were like, Pop, I was watching it, like I was into it, and then I kind of started doing other stuff I know we made it a long movie for you guys, but at least we're talking sports, right?
No, that's right. I mean, even the cut and edit guy was laughing. He's still laughing about it. So if we do something like that, maybe we do break it down to AFC, NFC, or however we do it. But it's something that we're just trying to preview the listeners to tell them where we are initially, and as the season gets longer, injuries. Maybe guys holding out, maybe trades during the midseason. How a team starts doesn't mean how they'll finish. And then all the preseason procrastinators talking about, last year, Dallas, and I didn't know Dak was going to get hurt, obviously, but it is what it is. So, hey, and I can say this. I did have the Steelers, Pittsburgh and Dallas.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did.
And Pittsburgh comes out 11-0. I look like a damn hero there, but we do know the ending there as well.
Hey, we both were on the Cowboys. We literally ignored the NFC East and said, well, it'd be the Cowboys year, no problem. But I did say that the sneaky team was the Washington football team, though, because controversy around the team this year, and the only thing that they could do this year is win. That's it. So, all in all, but it's just good to get you guys started. We just wanted to warm up a little bit. Let's go ahead and jump into last night's game. And boy, oh boy, what a game it was, Jeff. We had ourselves a very good game last night between the Suns and the Clippers, and the Clippers were able to get themselves back in the series. They were able to kind of shut up the haters a little bit. Paul George had a good game, but it was a great effort by their team. It was just like in game 2. It was a great effort. And Paul George knows that he oversold himself a little bit on those last possessions. Yes, you got the final bucket for him to get him ahead, but you didn't have to necessarily be the guy shooting the free throw. You know what I mean? I thought Luke Kennard was the hottest guy on the court, and I thought that he was going to be able to do what he had to do to, do what he had to do. So pretty much with that, let's go ahead and talk about it real quick. What were your thoughts on that situation, Jeff?
I'm thinking about this more as a, overall for the series and the long term here is the fact that Booker, CP3, and Aiden have been an amazing story for the NBA. It's been, listen, these guys have been absolute lights out, and hats off to them. And now the fact that Kawhi is out of the picture, everyone's just expecting them to win the series and go on to face either the Bucks or the Hawks with, obviously, the Ice Tray himself. But yesterday, I think, was a big example of the true picture in my eyes is the Clippers. I personally think have a deeper and stronger team. Without the alley-oop, they're technically up 2-1 and getting ready for tomorrow to maybe go up 3-1. So they've done what they've done best lately, lose the first 2 games, come back home, hold serve, and obviously tomorrow is the big game. Started out as a pick'em, and I am seeing some Suns -1 again. So to me, I think the Clippers can hold serve, get it to 2-2, and then it's the best out of 3. And listen, Phoenix has been lights out at home. You got to get the crowd out. You can't let them get out early. But I'm still sticking to my guns, and I think Clips in 6 or 7 still has a good chance of happening.
And here goes my point with the situation as well, too, Jeff. You have yourself a team in the Clippers. Now, the first 2 games with Dallas, first game, they slipped, they let it slip away. They lost by double digits. Second game, Dallas got a little lucky. Now, let's talk about these first 2 games in the last 2 series. Utah, game 1, could have won the game, lost on the last second situation. Game 2, same situation. Things got fell apart at the end. They didn't lose by much. Goes back to now we go to Phoenix. Same situation, Jeff. They only lost by about 4 points in game 1. And then we saw the epic moment that happened in game 2. This easily right now could be a Clippers 3-0 series, just like that last series could have been easily a Clipper 3-0 series. The Clippers could have swept the Jazz if they were able to finish in games 1 and 2, but they did what I like to call a backdoor sweep and beat them 4 games in a row after losing 2 games, after losing the first 2 games. The Lakers used to be classic at that when they were in their heyday in the playoffs as well, too. I remember them having to do the same exact thing against the San Antonio Spurs, who were a much better team at that time than the teams that they're going against as well too. So it shows that these guys have the heart of a champion, and this is coming from a guy who's been a Laker fan for the last 30 some odd years. And I'm not a Clipper hater, but I got a lot of jokes about them because that's just what we do in LA, is that we got Clipper jokes. But I really respect what this team is doing as a whole. I like what they're doing. I'm not going to give Tyronn Lue all the accolades because he has an exceptional coaching staff. And I think that the coaching staff is really being pushed right now by Chauncey Billups, who was a hell of a leader when he played the game. Now, him being a coach is even easier because he comes from the school of Larry Brown. And everybody that comes from the school of Larry Brown can coach. Danny Manning, who's one of the greatest college players of all time, was able to land him a ACC job just because he's from the school of Larry Brown. So that's why I feel like they're getting the extra oomph, because honestly, Tyronn Lue is better set being an assistant coach, but he's taking it upon himself that, I'm the head coach, but I'm sharing the responsibilities like they do in the NFL. You know what I mean? And I'm letting other guys execute other positions, and I just come in with the information and I make sure that guys are steady. But I got other guys over here that are coaching this thing up for me as well, too. And that's why the Clippers are doing what they're doing right now, because they have coaches that aren't giving up on them right now. Usually some coaches, you go down 0-2, hey, it's going to be okay. We'll get there. Hopefully we'll win. No, these coaches are saying we're going to win, and we're going to win this way. Okay, we made the adjustment for you. Let's go from here. Thoughts?
You nailed one big point. And if you listen to all the experts, what they were saying, what was the Clippers' problem down the stretch, even in the regular season and then getting into the playoffs? They weren't able to close these games out. And when Kawhi was healthy and now you're in the playoffs, it's almost like Paul George didn't want to step on Kawhi's feet and vice versa. Who was the closer? Most teams, who's going to have the ball and be that closer. So I think what has happened now since Kawhi has gone down is this team has looked at itself and says, hey, we still can win without him. And Paul George now with Kawhi out has actually taken that next step and say, hey guys, okay, I was brought here for a reason. Let's not just go through me. We've always said their bench is their team. Their bench is the longest and deepest in the league.
Yes.
And so I just think deep down that this team's going to find a way. I think they hold serve tomorrow. They go to 2-2, and then they've been down this road before where Phoenix hasn't. They haven't been in that 2-2. And listen, Booker's young, Aiden's young, and CP3 is the glue. And first game back wasn't the greatest, and a lot of people on the Sun side says, well, you don't need CP3, keep him out. We won without him. They need CP3, but I still like where the Clippers are right now. We talked about it. It's only a series when a road team breaks serve, and so that's all that's happened right now. It's 3-0, and the home teams have won. So let's see what happens.
And my last point to this, a big reason why they lost last night was Cameron Payne went out in the first quarter with an ankle injury. And Cameron Payne was the difference in game 2. If you don't get Payne's effort in game 2, the Clippers actually blow the Suns off the floor because they played much better basketball, but there was no answer for Cameron Payne. And Booker's been struggling since game 2 anyway. You know what I mean? Because I think they figured out a way to the Clippers have the type of defense that can keep him where they can make him take the shots they want him to take, not the shots he wants to take. And I think that Mikal Bridges kind of going to witness protection program has been a big factor as well, too, because he, to me, is like the Scottie Pippen, because you don't have a future with Chris Paul. This is a one-and-done situation. Chris Paul will not be back next season. It's too much of a tab for the Suns. So most likely he'll be headed to La La Land to go be with LeBron. But all in all, though, the future relies on Mikal Bridges, Devin Booker, and DeAndre Ayton. And they have to make sure that Mikal Bridges doesn't get lost in the fold, because he's been so huge in both of these series leading up to the conference finals as well, too. So let's go ahead and move into some NFL, Jeff. And, we always love talking about NFL. And I feel like me and Jeff are at our coach point right now where you're just looking at the rosters and, just evaluating the talent a little bit. And seeing what you got to add here and add there, and seeing what Vegas is talking about on the odds and all that good stuff. But will the Bills what does the season hold for the Bills, defending AFC East champions? They got Mitch Trubisky there. I would be like, they got Richie Fromm there, but Richie Fromm will be a third stringer, right? So pretty much they got the kid, the man. Everybody loves him. We already know. Mr. Josh Allen. So, everybody is in love with the kid from Wyoming. And really, he's not from Wyoming. He's actually from a very small town in California. And that's crazy when I say a small town in California. Now, do you think that this team repeats, or did Bill Belichick go ahead and say, allow me to reintroduce myself? My name is Bill, Bill to the Blecchick.
Yes.
Back then, you would have known me as the DC of the
It's funny. Josh Allen, whose name now has replaced Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson,
right,
again, going into last year, was the name other than Mahomes everyone talked about in the AFC. Well, now it's Josh Allen. It's a tough call because what the Patriots have done is they added and spent some money this year. They're going to get some names back on defense. It sounds like they're going to restructure and keep Gilmore, which would be huge. Obviously, the big concern there is at quarterback. I mean, Bill does not want to rush the kid that they drafted from Bama, Mac Jones. Obviously, we know Brian Hoyer can't win the division. So now you're up to Cam Newton. The only thing that I'll say, and we will say this till opening week, and it doesn't happen, is the San Francisco 49ers, okay, have 24 million reasons to cut Jimmy G before opening day. So they've been real quiet about their draft pick over there. Is he ready to start? Is he ready to take that team, to the the NFC West division and into the playoffs? If he gets cut and becomes available, I'm still leaving the door open that Jimmy G could slide into New England. He already knows the system. I don't think it would take long to get him up to speed. So, and the other question mark is Miami and Tua. Obviously early in the OTAs, he's not looking good, but I love everything that Miami has done. I think that they're moving in the right direction. I think their defense will be a lot better. If you put a gun to my head right now, Pops, I'd say the Bills do win by default. I do, but I could see some regression. I mean, the blueprint's out on Diggs. I mean, he cannot duplicate what he did last year, and that was his binky. So I think it's going to be a competitive division. I don't know what to expect from the Jets right now, but I think I'd give a slight edge to the Bills and winning the East right now.
And real quick to your Jimmy G point, I'm going to be real fast here. If I'm Washington, I'm looking at that situation very closely. Because the thing is, you can give up a little something and take on a contract. If you don't like it, you can get rid of them at the end of the year.
No, I agree. And that's the sticking point. Why this deal wasn't made is that Jimmy G doesn't want to take a pay cut to come to New England. And New England's all about the dollar. They do have room to, you can do a 3-year deal, give him 24 guaranteed, 26, 28 guaranteed. You can break it up any way you can. Washington's the other team, and I agree 100% with you because that team has made so much strides, and their defense is only going to get better. And the fact is they just don't have that quarterback, and they got some offensive weapons that need the ball. So I love that idea, Pops. Absolutely.
Right, because when you look at it, Jimmy G had the number 1 rated defense in the league when they went to the Super Bowl.
Correct.
And the offense is kind of set up in the same way San Francisco is. No big stars on the offensive end, but they're competitive players. And that's something Jimmy G can work with. And Jimmy G has shown that he's one of the more elite game managers. He's not a slinger like Stafford or Aaron Rodgers or any of those quarterbacks that can just get it going for you on a blink. You know what I mean? He has more of the Tom Brady uniform, run the play the coach wants you to run, and run everything accordingly, run everything right, and that gets results as well too when you have a great defense.
And you talked about Stafford. I have to add this, man. Your coach out in LA, absolutely drooling what Stafford's doing out there. It's going to be great to watch them. Again, a team with the number one defense with Donald, with stars everywhere. And now Maccabee, your coach has a quarterback now that he can trust. You could see it all along. He just didn't trust Goff. Now he's got a guy that can sling it. And Pops, that division's yours for you guys. It's there. You better take it.
Right. And you know what? You know me. You know, I'm just in LA. And the Rams are just here too. So, you know, I'm not gung-ho with them. But the thing is that at the end of the day, he's brimming with confidence because the front office has put that fire in that fire up as you know what, and said if this doesn't work, you and him will be on the unemployment line at the end of the year. Okay, just know that.
Agreed.
We got 17,000 people that would love to be the coach of the LA Rams right now in that printed new stadium. Okay, brother. So you know you playing with some fire right now. So you better make sure he can get the football in there at the 1 yard line, unlike he used to do in Detroit. Yeah, I know because he lost us a lot of money doing that. All right.
Yes.
So, yeah, you know, bad Stafford, as much money as his Lions lost betters, he can. I don't know if he could walk in the sports book and really get hugs and kisses from people.
No,
he's gonna get nothing but advice. You know, when you're on the 1 yard line, just put your head out there and throw the ball up there. Get the quarterback sneak. You know, but it is what it is at the end of the day. Let's go ahead and get to our next topic. All right, and we don't have to be long with this because you know I've talked about the Cardinals intensely because I love what the front office is doing with the roster, but I don't love what they're doing with the sideline. And I think I'm gonna be honest with you. It doesn't matter what record the Cardinals finish with. In my opinion, they have to get to the playoffs this year. If they fall short of the playoffs again, I think they'll have to look another way. Because it's not the team anymore. It's just the coach. And I feel like coach played them out of the playoffs as well, too, the final 3 weeks of the season with just some questionable calls throughout. And I know they lost Kyler Murray, but he didn't do a great job of protecting Kyler Murray either. He let Kyler Murray decide what he wanted to do with his injury instead of listening to the people that are assessing the injury. And that's why they wound up not having him available literally the last week of the season because he should have been on the bench 2 weeks prior to that because the reason being he had a severe injury that really affected his game, and that's running away from defenders. The thing is, you got a quarterback that can't really stand in the pocket that long, but since he's so miniature and can move so quickly, then it makes up for a lot of things. He is a gamer, though. I'm not going to act like Kyler's not a gamer. He's a great quarterback, but I think that he's going to be real figured out next season. They got to find a way to make sure that doesn't happen consistently throughout the year. And that's on Kingsbury to make that adjustment. And I just don't know if he's the type of coach that's going to be able to make that adjustment because he doesn't really fit the bill of being an NFL head coach, in my opinion. Now, offensive coordinator, cool. Quarterbacks coach, cool. The special training coach, cool. The guy that leads the Gatorade team, cool. But head coach, no. What are your thoughts?
You know, Pops, I don't like where this is going with them, meaning, you know, they bring another aging wide receiver over there. They haven't addressed the tight end situation. Again, they've given Kyler as many weapons as possible where they're really not looking at it, in my eyes, the right way, where at this point, they should have been looking at the back end and the defense and moving forward. Right. They are in the toughest division, hands down. So if you asked me if they're going to make the playoffs, I can't put them ahead of your Rams. I'm not putting them ahead of the 49ers. And I'm still not going to put them in front of Seattle. So no. And I agree with you. If they don't make the playoffs, it's time for him to go. But here's the downfall again. Now you're going to turn the whole coaching system over again. Murray's going to start over again. And again, I just don't think they're looking at it in the right way. I love Kyler. I love D-Hop. I like their offense. I don't like their defense, and I don't like him as a head coach. He couldn't win in college. He's a system guy scoring 55 and 60 points and still losing games. And now you bring him to the NFL, and I personally don't think it's going to work. And I think he's in over his head or skis, and I don't see it happening.
And one fact before we go to the commercial, I remember watching Cliff Kingsbury play for Texas Tech. and having and doing the same exact thing you just said, coming up short, 5 and 6 seasons, 6 and 5 seasons. But you know what? He would always get throw for 4 or 5, 600 yards in those games. But yeah, you can do that with 6 receivers spread out.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So you don't have that same luxury in the NFL, and you're putting your quarterback at risk week in and week out. And that's why I just don't think he's the right guy for this situation. But the offensive coordinator is right for Kyler. So if you just get rid of the head coach, cool. But I would say keep the offensive coordinator intact.
Agree. And you look at the success in that division and look at the other 3 teams, how they're doing it. Seattle was at their best with a great defense. The 49ers have a great defense, and the Rams have a great defense. And I think Arizona's just trying to look at it in the mirror the opposite way. Hey, we're going to outscore you. You might be able to outscore them when you're at home. You're not going to go walk into San Fran, LA, or Seattle and put up 30 without giving up 40. So I don't see it happening, Pops.
And with that, we will be right back. This is the premier sports betting show with the one and only Pop DBacks, the primetime capper, with the Don of Cape Cod himself, Jeff Dawson. All right, you guys check out hackclub.com. You guys can go ahead and go 50% off on the on any 10% off on any $50 order or better. Once again, that's hackclub.com. Check them out. Go ahead and get those drippy hats. And with that, after this commercial, we will be right back.
Good News Only Racing Club, led by the legendary Doug O'Neill, the trainer of 2 Kentucky Derby winners and I'll Have Another and Nyquist. Also trained 2-time Breeders' Cup champ Golden Sense, who are just a part of a long list of thoroughbred champions trained by Doug O'Neill. The Good News Only Racing Club has a young core of horses to look out for in Dennis's Celery, Irish Heatwave, and Notre Dame, just to name a few. Win the day every day with the Good News Only Racing Club, a proud sponsor of the NFL Bet Exchange.
From the East and the West, you've heard others, but now you've tuned into the best. This is a Prime Wave Media production.
Tune into Big Wave Boxing every week with a brand new guest with the one and only Pop DBacks, the primetime capper, getting the best boxing stories, best boxing angles, and the truth when it all comes down to the sweet science. Tune in to Big Wave Boxing on the Prime Wave Media channel on YouTube. All right, we are back, and my bad. I'm supposed to be switching that as we go on. I'm just looking blankly at the screen. Well, Dodger fans, you saw what happened last night. Cubs have a combined no-hitter to beat Dodgers 4-0 as the Blue Crew drops their 4th in a row. But guess what, though, Jeff? Last time the Dodgers got no hit, they were in Seattle, and the same exact thing happened. Same exact thing, Jeff. But I think it took 7 pitchers with the Mariners to do it. It only took 3 with the Cubs. Because Zach Davies had a night last night, and he still walked 8 batters. They walked 8 times and still couldn't get a run last night. Would I say there's trouble in La La Land? Not at all. It's just baseball. That's what it is. Baseball is having a career low year when it comes to batting average. So I'm not surprised by these games. And you know, now they want to baby the batters a little bit with the whole, oh, let's go check if the guy got substances in his glove. No, you keep telling the players on how to hit the ball instead of letting them just hit the ball. You know, we got all these analytics in place. You say, well, you got to hit to the left side, okay? You got to hit to the right side, okay? And you know what? You're just not letting batters dictate the situation. This is why I miss the old days where you didn't need no plunk shift. You know what I mean? I know that you literally, when you're doing a shift, you're giving up a single, but you have 45 guys over there, but you're okay. You know what I mean? But but if you have a great second baseman with range, you can get the play done. It's called paying attention. I think that they made the outfielders lazy, and it kind of makes the pitchers lazy. It kind of makes the batters lazy as well too. And I truly do think that we got so much more going on in the game of baseball than you worried about a guy maybe having a little bit of tar on his finger or a little bit of this. You know, it's all about movement. Where can the pitcher have their advantage at? You can't give every advantage to the batter, but I know why they're doing this, because if you produce runs in a baseball game, you get a lot of excitement. I was at the Astros game last week. Altuve hits a home run. They're going absolutely ape over it. But, you know, you see a couple strikeouts. It's like, oh, yeah, good job. But no, when you get the homer, woo, 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 woo. You know what I mean? And I know the MLB needs more of that this year. But why is it such a focus when we know that we're having, honestly, a great season in baseball as well, too? And I think that this is kind of interrupting things a little bit. I know that I'm not talking so much about the no-hitter. I want to get your point on what's going on with the policing in the MLB.
You know, it's a sticky situation, no pun intended there. You know, they've been doing it forever, and there's some pitchers out there that got paid because of it. I bring up a Garrett Cole who got paid, you know, struggled in Pittsburgh, goes over to Houston, resurrected, and gets a big contract with the Yankees. Just this year, Garrett Richards got a free $10 million from the Red Sox. His last 4 starts, he's given up like 41 hits and 1 million runs in like 14 innings. And he's telling the world he can't pitch now. He doesn't know what to do anymore. So I think the bad part of baseball is that they did it mid-season. You know, as some of the pitchers have complained about, if you were going to do this, you talk about it in the offseason so they can work on different methods in spring training to get to the game. So I think it's kind of, you know, there's going to be a lot of blame going on. You know, go back to the steroid era when that year when Bonds, McGuire, and Sosa are hitting, you know, 60 and 70 homers, the ratings were never bigger. People were enjoying it. So the offense does bring in ratings. So I think it got to a point where, hey, they're allowing the shift. They're allowing the analytics to control the game. No one's scoring. No one's watching these games anymore. So they said, we've had enough, and this is how we're going to deal with it. And we'll see how this happens and how it pans out. You know, I watched the Dodger game last night. We had the over in that game. And you know, you got, you know, 8 walks. You got guys on base. But what really stood out to me, 2 things. Zach Davies, I mean, he has the ERA at almost 6, and you guys couldn't hit him. But when I watched Craig Kimbrell in the 9th, I'm like, who is this man? We had him as a Red Sox not too long ago. He did win us a World Series. But my point is, that guy, he's doing something. I have not seen him throw so hard in my life. And pinpoint accuracy. Walks the first guy on 5 pitches, and after that was just lights out. But will be interesting. You're not going anywhere. You're 44 and 31. You talked about the Astros. They've won 11 in a row. Mac the Mattress already got $2 million on them to win it at 10-1. So I'm excited. I'm a baseball guy. I have fun here.
Right. It's all good. The Dodgers are a team in July and August. They'll be fine.
Absolutely.
And all they need is this giant series to happen, even though they're having issues with San Diego. But the Dodgers have notoriously had issues with San Diego the whole time. Since San Diego got here, San Diego's really like your scrappy little neighbor down the street that you kind of play with it a little bit, but you don't try to get too crazy with them. You know what I mean? But, you know, he's always going to take the competition a little bit more seriously. But the Giants at the end of the day, oh, boy, that's you know, Popeye and Brutus right there.
You know something? I talked to a lot of people, Pops. Okay. And obviously everyone said it's San Diego and the Dodgers, you know, who's going to the World Series. this Giant team, everyone wants to say is doing it with smoke and mirrors. They're going to crash. Maybe they will, but what a damn story. Listen, I enjoy watching them. They're a team with chemistry. It's old baseball. A lot of young players, a lot of, I will say, over the hill guys with Longoria, with Posey, that are stepping up. It's a great, great story. And I'm hoping they stick and stay. I really do. I think it'll be great for baseball.
I think they are going to stick and stay, to be honest with you, because as long as you got Colorado and Arizona in your division, you're good. Because they're not going to win any games.
No.
You see Arizona just won a game after losing, 23 in a row or something like that, 17 in a row?
17 in a row.
And the Rockies are so irrelevant, it doesn't matter what the Rockies are doing. You know what I mean? The Rockies go on a 5-game winning streak, nobody would care.
No.
Seriously.
They can't win on the road.
Against them. Yeah, and still bet against them.
I think they got 3 wins on the road all year, something stupid like that. They just can't win on the road, which makes no sense.
And I'm about to be stupid tonight with them. We'll talk about it in a minute. So let's go ahead and move on to one of the greatest rivalries in all of sports, and that's going to be the Yankees and the Red Sox. And the Red Sox are at home, and they're going to be at Fenway tonight, and they're going to be razzing all the Yanks fans and all that good stuff. We're going to have a good time over at Fenway tonight, Jeffy. Go get me 2 Franks, a beer, and some peanuts. We'll be good. That's exactly – isn't that the mentality when they play the Yankees at Fenway?
Yeah, well, that and the fact that get ready for a 4-hour-plus game, these guys just drag it out. The older Yankee squad would used to just try to get the starting pitcher out, so they'd take a lot of pitches, foul a lot off, and then you'd look and it's in the 3rd inning and you're already an hour and 15 minutes in. Tonight's game's kind of, a Yankee team that we're all waiting, 5 games back. The Sox lost on a wild pitch yesterday, so now the Rays are back in first. Interesting game from our view, Pops. Yanks opened up -125, now -118, yet they're getting 57% of the bets and 73% of the money. So we're seeing some reverse line movement coming in on the Red Sox here in game 1. And in the total, Yanks opened up, the total opened at 10.5. Now it was dropped down to 10. 63% of the bets and 68% of the money coming in on that under. So right now we would say slight lean Sox with the reverse line movement in the under 10.
I agree with the under. And I think that I like the Yankees a little bit more today because Martin Perez is pitching much better as a Red Sox. He wasn't good as a Ranger, but there's a lot of things that equate when he was with the Rangers. He didn't get a lot of run support when he was pitching as well too. Or if he did get some run support, it really didn't matter because he was giving up a lot of runs too. But he's had a little bit of a resurgence here in Boston. I saw that he had 2 or 3 really good games in a row. Then he kind of regressed in the last one. But I think all in all, though, he is a pitcher you can trust. But Domingo Germain is supposed to be so much better than this. And so that's why I feel like he can be the winner tonight. But we'll see how it goes. The spread is calling for the Yanks, but it's saying that the Red Sox should be the winner. And it did open. My book opened it up at 135. That's why I have it here from where I saw it at. So when I see a decrease of it going down to 118, that means the Sox are getting a lot of money put on them and a lot of money put on them fast. But what happens at the end of the day, though, is the late money will come in on the Yankees. We both know this stuff. And they'll go off at -125. You probably get +105 back on the Red Sox tonight. So if you got the good number on the Red Sox, take it now. Don't wait till later. And if you got the number on if you got that 118 on the Yankees, and if you're in the book right now watching, go ahead and take that on the Yanks as well too, because it's going to spice back up at the end of the day. Because this game is probably going to get the most action in the MLB, regardless of anything.
Agreed.
All right, so we move on to the Angels and the Rays. All right, Angels coming in cross-country trip. Absolute fun game yesterday with the Giants, but they did kind of fall apart a little bit there in extra innings. Now you got the Angels coming over here to the Rays, one of the better teams in the league. And I'm going to tell you like this. I have an open mind when it comes to all sports, Jeff, but I do have my teams in each sport. And in baseball, it's the Dodgers, blase. But, at the end of the day, I have to have an open mind. I can't be with the Dodgers every time they play because there's days I bet against them. because I'm not feeling it. You know what I mean? But if I didn't have a team and I was just starting to watch baseball, I would love me some Tampa Bay Devil Rays, boy. They are fun to watch. They are fun in the dugout. They just remind me of the true underdog. All right, if you're not going to respect us, it is what it is. We're going to show and prove that we are capable of being with the best of them, and they definitely are this season. The Rays are absolute dynamite to me. So I think that they should be good in tonight's game, but I think the Angels are going to give them a little bit of an issue tonight because they're traveling cross country. You know, there'll be a little jet lag and everything, but they'll be fine, and they got a lot of value going with them tonight. But I would say let's take the spread, and I think that the Angels can play themselves a pretty close game tonight, even though they do have a pitcher in Griffin Channing that might not be past the test as much as you would want him to.
You know, the Rays bring up Wander Franco to start the series with the Red Sox, the number one top prospect, and the kid's got all the tools, all the goods. He's going to be special. You talked about the Rays, the chemistry, the team there, how they go about their business. And kind of I started chuckling because most of the listeners here won't remember this, going way back to the Pittsburgh Pirates and the We Are Family teams. And that's what baseball's all about. Not always does the best team or the highest payroll win. It's the teams that bond together and play together. They get on these runs, and they're tough to beat. And I look at tonight's game, and the Rays opened up at minus 153, currently at 165. It's a huge public play right now. 85% of the bets, 82% of the money, all coming in on Tampa as well as it should be. The one thing I will say to all the people listening that are Angel backers, if you are going to play this team, you really got to start looking at the first five. Their back end is so bad. Nothing worse than having a nice lead after 5 innings and seeing the bullpen just explode to give up, 3, 4, 5, 6 runs and eventually lose the game. So it's a game that we basically have no feel. I'm not going to follow the public on this. Even you could say a little value on the Rays run line tonight. You can catch them plus 120 minus the 1.5 runs. Only problem with that is that taking the home teams, you're only guaranteed 24 outs. The only way that you win that in the ninth is with a walk-off 2-3 or grand slam home run. So again, cross country, jet lag, the whole 9 yards. I think the public's all in on Tampa, a game that we'll just sit and watch, Pops.
Well, the reason why I like the plus 1.5 on the spread tonight is that you have to pay a lot for that spread tonight. It's not a lot, but you know what I mean, Jeff. Minus 150 for a plus 1.5 is a bit much. And so what it tells me sometimes when you got to pay a bit much for the insurance, that means that you have the winner. That's how I feel. But I'm going to pay a bit much for the insurance tonight. But if you need a dog tonight, bet the Angels. That's how I'm feeling tonight.
No, I agree. And actually, you can, if you're shopping right now, you can get them plus 1.5, minus 140, and all the bets and all the money's coming in on that Rays side again, but the line's moving the right way. So I think you're onto something, Pops.
All right, we move on to what I call a gutter game, and this is going to be the Royals and the Rangers. And Royals and Rangers, this is the game where a guy walks in the book, he gets confused, and he tells himself that, oh, the Rangers should kick their butts today because they're at home. No, Kansas City gave the Yankees all they could handle the last few days, and they were able to cash out a nice plus 1.5 for me the other day as well, too. And they won as a big dog as well. So you can't sleep on the Royals in certain situations. And when the Royals play against the bad teams, they beat them up, Jeff. They beat them up real good. Dane Dunning isn't playing the style that you wanted him to play this year. A lot of people had a lot of hype going into Dane Dunning as the future arm of the Texas Rangers. He's not really showing up the way that you would suggest, and it gives you a guy that you can trust tonight in Mike Minor. But the thing is, though, both these guys have higher ERAs. They get a lot of strikeouts, so that means that there's a chance that they can get hit a lot too as well. Because strikeout pitchers are probably the most vulnerable when it comes to pretty much home runs, big hits, things of that nature. When you're a junk guy, all you really need to worry about is if your fielders are going to be able to field the ball. You know what I mean? But with these guys, anything can happen. There can be a grand slam hit at any moment because they really are pitching to get the guy out. You know what I mean? They're not just dealing. You know what I mean? So Mike Minor, he's been kind of kicked around a little bit, but he's probably one of the better starters on the Kansas City Royal rotation, 92 strikeouts on the year. So you got to respect that part. I just think what happens here is that it's going to be an over because the last few games in Texas have went over. Not the last few, like maybe last 4 or 5 games have went over, and I think that that trend is going to stick, and that's why I'm going to go ahead and take Kansas City to go ahead and the Rangers to go over the 8.5 tonight. What are your thoughts?
Well, I was listening to your analysis, and then I had this box checked. I had it checked for an opposite opinion. Game opened up a dead pick, -110 apiece. You're getting 59% of the bets and only 41% of the money on Kansas City. We're seeing sharper, heavier money come in on the home team Rangers. You can grab Kansas City right now +105, and the Rangers are now currently -115. So we're showing less tickets, more money. We're on the home team Rangers side here, minus the 115. Going to your total tonight, game opened up 8 over -120. Now it's currently 8 under -120. 78% of the bets, 93% of the money is on the over here, yet the juice is flip-flopped. So I tend to read this and say basically looks like the sharper, heavier money is on the under, and the sharper, more respected money is on the Rangers. That's how we see this game tonight, Pops.
Gotcha. All right, let's move on to our next one. This is my upset special of the day, Jeff. I think the Mariners walking to, I know it's not called Comiskey Park anymore, but I like to call it Comiskey Park. But they walk into the South Side and hand these boys a South Side whooping. That's what I like to see today. I like the Mariners a lot, +165. Hopefully the Dodgers can figure out a way to get Kyle Seager down here to be with his brother. You know, it'd be fun. It'd be real fun. But Kyle Seager is one of the most slept-on players in the MLB. This team is a fun bunch as well, too, Jeff. There's a lot of good players on this team, and they're staying afloat, too. I think they give the White Sox everything that they can handle tonight, and they wind up getting an upset win. I love the +165 here. What are your thoughts?
Friday night, public, payday. They run to the window, and they see the big favorites, and they start running towards them. They flock to them. It's a magnet. Mm-hmm. And Rondon's got a no-hitter this year. He's been pitching great. The White Sox owned lefties, starting lefties. They had a run that they were 24-4. They've struggled versus lefties the last handful of times. Line opened up at 175. Currently, the White Sox -210. 79% of the bets, 74% of the money, all rolling in on the White Sox. To be honest with you, I agree with everything that you're saying. Kikuchi's been great. He's kept Seattle in ball games. For myself and East Coast sports investors, could never lay the 210. So the only way that we could play this game, honestly, would to take a shot at the dog. And currently pops at the window. You can get your Seattle Mariners right now +188.
And see, I love that right there. See, and that right there is going to be you love to see it because you'll see people with a book literally going nuts. You get paid $30 million and you can't throw a pitch over the plate. And then I say to myself, okay, we're going to sub you in and see if you can get the ball over the plate. So it is what it is. Yeah, at the end of the day. So let's go ahead and get into the Bay Area rivalry game. And you know, it's Oakland, it's the A's and the Giants. They're a little bit more cordial than the Raiders and the 49ers. I would say that. Because it's baseball, they understand. But tonight, the A's, I feel, can be good in this game. Giants can be good in this game. But I think that we get a Windy City under. Not a Windy City under, but we get a Bay Area under. Because these teams never score a lot on each other when they play each other. That's the whole thing, Jeff. It's always a back and forth with these two. And also, you know, want to send a big – also want to send just throw up a flashback moment. We all remember when the A's and San Francisco Giants played each other in the World Series, all a part of the Earthquake Series, as they called it. And boy, that was a fun series. Jeff, so many all-stars on the A's that year, dude. They were just that team was unstoppable, Jeff. And they had to get right after what the Dodgers did to them.
I remembered that like it was yesterday. I was house sitting in West Bridgewater, right next to Brockton, and the city of champions, as we like to call them, and got home just in time for I thought was going to be the World Series first pitch. And then there's everyone on the field clearing out with that earthquake. A's was stacked and loaded back then. Fun team to watch. Fun team to watch now. I mean, this game kind of throws up a red flag to us. San Francisco, having a great year. We talked about it, but Oakland opened up minus 115, currently 114. Only 46% of the bets and only 33% of the money coming in on Oakland. Yet it shifted, and San Fran went from minus 105 to plus 104. So we at ECSI do lean Oakland with Mania tonight. And your over-under, I think, hats off to you on that one. This one opened up at 8.5 juiced, minus 120 under, and it's now dropped a full run to 7.5. Juiced 119 over. 71% of the bets, 73% of the money all coming in on the over, yet the under dropped the full run. So, Pops, I think you spot on the under today, and then we'll lean Oakland minus the 114.
All right, real quick. Let's get into this one. Easy call. Padres spread. That's all I need. No, I ain't getting no value here, but still, Padres spread at Petco. I'm good. Let's roll. Your thoughts real quick, Jeff, and we'll take another commercial break.
Yeah, I mean, Padres opened at 265, now minus 310. And you look at the spread, opened up minus 125, now minus 147. Again, a real heavy public play. I think if you go to the Vegas Strip tonight, you're going to see nothing but Padre money line parlays. Padre minus 1.5 at 147 run line parlays. Only thing that I could do here again would be a parlay with the money line, or again, if you're looking to get involved in this game, I would take the run line. It is a little juicy at minus 147, but again, Arizona, and especially on the road, thanks, but no thanks.
Exactly. All right. So with that, we will be right back with the premier sports betting show, the Primetime Angles, live with the one and only Pop DiBiase, the Primetime Capper, and the Don of Cape Cod himself, Jeff Dawson.
The Viget app, where social media meets sports betting. Get the latest line movements in all major sports. Track your daily bets, daily contests, the NFL over-under contest that pays out $10K in cash prizes. This is a cutting-edge app that helps betting be easy. Sign up with the reference code POPDBIC and you will be able to watch my daily show, The Primetime Angles, as a resource to building that bankroll. Viget is available in your Apple or Google Store on your iOS or Android. The social sports betting app, Viget.
From the East and the West, you've heard others, but now you've tuned into the best. This is a Prime Wave Media production.
Right, exactly. All right, so let's go ahead. Let me get us back in motion. Got to pay attention. Jeff is over there having a good time. Kumbaya, kumbaya. He doesn't. He's dealing with good 75-degree weather.
No, we're about 84 and sticky though.
You got ocean breeze though.
Yeah, we do.
You got the ocean breeze. Come on. All right. So real quick, because we got about 3 minutes. Let's go ahead and jump into this real quick, and we'll talk a little bit about the money in the Clippers situation as well too. And to give you guys an update, the Hawks are 7-1 in Vegas right now, while the Bucks are not the outright favorite. So do not believe what Charles Barkley said on TNT, because he just goes off of whatever FanDuel is talking about. The absolute favorite right now still is the Clippers, Jeff, because the Suns have the longest odds to win a championship. You know that, right?
Well, and what people don't understand, and they just want to listen and hear what they want to hear, is the fact that when he talked about initially the Suns, okay, they had already had a 2-0 lead. Okay, now you look at their price to win it, and the Bucks are 0-1. So right. I don't put Charles. I love Charles to death. The round mound, the rebound, Auburn, the whole 9 yards. But yeah, he's just for entertainment purposes.
Right, and I was telling people the story about when I stayed at the Hilton, and we saw him walk out smiling after he lost $1 million in the Diamond Room. It's a restaurant now at the Westgate, but at the Hilton, it used to be the Big Baller Room. So, Charles, when you listen to gambling stuff, maybe Charles might not be the best option. But let's get into the game. Hawks tonight, Bucks. We got over under 226.5. I love the under tonight. Plus 260 on the Hawks, minus 350 on the Bucks, minus 8. Jeff, I'm gonna be dead honest with you. The Bucks didn't finish the other night, and the Hawks stole a game. Tonight, the Bucks cut him off at the head early. They make sure Trae Young has a bad night, and if Trae Young has a bad night, the rest of them are gonna have a bad night. But Trae Young was making circus shots. He's not gonna be able to make those circus shots tonight. I think Drew Holiday has a plan for him in place, and I think that they're absolutely going to get rolled tonight, because I'm going to tell you like this, and this is my last point, and you go real quick, but they've been lathered up for a beat down tonight by ESPN. Just too much love for Trae, and they're forgetting that we still have 6 more games to go in the series. They literally are already handing the Hawks the NBA Finals. I don't like that, and I think that if the Bucks saw the TV, looked at TV this morning, they'll be on the same train, Jeff.
100%. I mean, I'll quicken to the point. A lot of these NBA series, you can look at the best team loses the first game and then wins it, the next 4 or 5 games. Bucks had all the opportunities in the world. They just, again, they didn't finish. It seems like a common theme when we're talking about the Clippers. Again, I think the 8's a gift. Should be, and nothing's guaranteed in life, but should be a double-digit victory, not even a question. Go back to Atlanta 1-1 and, set the tone there. But I think the Bucks handle their business tonight.
All right. Okay, real quick with my primetime pick 6, Yanks money line minus 125, Angels plus 1.5, over 8 with the Royals and the Rangers. Mariners money line is the dog of the day, plus 165, and then we got the under 8.5. A's and Giants, and then we have the Padres minus 1.5 today, and that's what we're doing. Jeff, real quick, your thoughts on that?
I love it. I love everything I see here. We talked a lot about some of these games individually. I think I was looking earlier this week, and I think you had one day at like 68-1, and you had them all but one. The hashtag single what you like is there for a reason, but I love everything that you got here, Pops.
All right, sounds good, Jeff. Now, you can go ahead and bet these bets over at YouWager. You guys can go ahead and use the VSXPOP promo code, and you guys can get yourself 50% match deposit. So if you put up $200, they'll match it with a $100 free play, and your sports betting journey begins. All right, so you guys can catch Jeff over at ECSI on the Twitter. You guys can catch Jeff there, and you guys can also catch him on the Facebook. Just type in Jeff Dawson, and he'll be able to take care of you with that as well too. But hopefully we can get Jeff back Monday if he has some time, or we'll bring him back at some point this week as well too. But all in all, as I always say, bet with your head, not with your heart. If you have a hunch, bet a bunch. The movement is moving. This is the premier sports betting show with the one and only Pop DBIC, the primetime capper, and the Don of Cape Cod himself, Jeff Dawson, and we are signing off, and I am gone.
Thank you.